हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, आज हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे ग्राफिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ मोशन। ठीक है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट द डिस्टेंस टाइम ग्राफ। डिस्टेंस टाइम ग्राफ क्या होता है? दैट इज द ज्योमेट्रिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल बाय अ बॉडी एंड द टाइम टेकन बाय इट। ओके, नाउ फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सी हियर दैट द इन डिस्टेंस टाइम ग्राफ द स्लोप of body whatever that we will get, that will give us a speed of a body. ठीक है, that the slope in first one. See here this is the distance time, that distance I taken that on y-axis and time on x-axis. Generally we will take that time on x-axis. Okay, so if the line, this line is parallel to the time axis, अगर ये टाइम एक्सिस के पैरेलल होगा, in that case that object will be at rest position. Okay, how can we say? Suppose that as the time passes, that distance showing the same point, it means the object is at rest. Okay, in second case, if the slope, see here that this line is a straight one making some angle with the time axis, it means what? The slope, whatever the slope will be here, that slope we will find by just drawing perpendicular by the base. ठीक है, तो that we will get the slope and the certain value. If that is constant at every point, at that time we will say that object is moving with constant speed or uniform speed. Okay, in third case, that here, see here that the curve means distance time graph, this line is called the graph. Okay, if this line is curved like this, in that case we can say that object is moving with non-uniform speed, and in that case see here that a speed increases, okay, as the time passes. Okay, but not equal amounts. See here in that the fourth case, that also this is the graph of non-uniform speed, but here that at a certain time that speed decreases, so the graph will be like this one. Now next we will discuss about the velocity time graph. Now in velocity time graph, that is VT graph, we will discuss certain graph. So first of all, what we will get in velocity time graph? Okay, so velocity time graph, first of all you have to keep it in mind that slope of velocity time graph gives acceleration. Okay, from here the if we will find the slope, it means that will give us acceleration. Okay, second में है that the area between velocity time graph, see here velocity time graph and time axis, it will give the distance traveled by a body. In VT graph we can find distance traveled by finding area between the velocity time graph and the time axis. Okay, so in first case, see here that this line, that is velocity time graph. Okay, this line is parallel to time axis. It means what? That here slope will be 0, means this line not making certain angle with the time axis, so here slope is 0, so we can say that acceleration is here 0, means there is no acceleration, means that object is moving with constant speed, that is velocity. Okay, in second case, see that the velocity time graph here, when the body a speed, that is the velocity increases uniformly. Okay, in that case there will certain angle, so we will get certain slope, so in that case that will give us acceleration. So in this case the graph will be like this and make it a certain angle with the time axis. In third case, if that velocity decreases uniformly, okay, मतलब एक रेट से डिक्रीज हो रहा है, in that case the graph will be like this, means velocity पहले ज्यादा था, अब धीरे धीरे as the time passes ये decrease करते जा रहा है. ठीक है, in fourth case, see here that when the velocity increases but not a uniform rate, that is non-uniformly, in that case the curve will be like that. तो यहाँ पे ये slope जो होगा वो पॉजिटिव होगा. यहाँ पे देखिए फिफ्थ नंबर, that when the velocity decreases non-uniformly again, but here see that it is decreases, here velocity is decreases, in this case increases, here decreases, so graph will be like this. And now that we discuss here the slope, but area, how we will find the area? In suppose that first case we want to find the distance traveled by the body, in that case suppose that ask that particular time, suppose that after 5 seconds what will be the distance traveled. What you have to do, just एक perpendicular इस तरह से draw कर देना है, and whatever the area will be here, that will give us, that is the distance traveled by the body. It will act as a rectangle. Okay, now children we will derive equations of motion by graphical method. So first of all what are the equations of motion? There are three equations of motion. First one, that is first equation, v equals to u plus at. Second equation, that is s equal to ut plus half at square. And third equation is v square minus u square equal to 2as. So one by one we will discuss. Here u represents that initial velocity, v represents final velocity, t you know that is time, and a for acceleration. And in this, that s is there, means the distance travel by the body during time t. So one by one we will discuss all these things. Okay. So first equation, first of all we draw the graph. See here, that is the time axis, and this y is taken, that is the velocity. That I have written here meter per second. You may write or not. It is not compulsory. So here, this line AB, that represents the velocity time graph. Okay, children. So first means that whatever the data you will get, and when you draw the graph, you will get like this. For that, what we have to do, that for this first equation of motion, that suppose that object is moving with initial velocity u. What I have written, let us consider an object is moving with initial velocity u. At u, that means that it is at point A, that I had marked that here the velocity means suppose करो 5 मीटर पर सेकंड से मूव कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, तो किसी पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट पे मार्क कर दिए, ठीक. इन टाइम टी सपोज दैट 10 सेकंड के बाद, ठीक है, इन टाइम टी लेट्स इट्स वेलोसिटी इंक्रीजेस 5 से 10 मीटर पर सेकेंड या 20 मीटर पर सेकेंड हो गया, धीरे धीरे इंक्रीज करके, तो सो ग्राफ विल बी लाइक दिस डेफिनेटली. ओके. सो इन टाइम टी, सी अंडर द यूनिफॉर्म एक्सेलरेशन, दैट इन टाइम टी लेट इट्स वेलोसिटी इंक्रीजेस टू v. कहां पे भाई d पे पहुंचे तो इसका वेलोसिटी क्या पता चला, दैट द वेलोसिटी इज v. ओके. नाउ वी विल फाइंड हियर दिस वन, मींस एक्सेलरेशन वेलोसिटी है, यहाँ पे क्या है, initial velocity, this is the final velocity. This first equation of motion, it is also known as velocity time relation. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ग्राफ बना लेना है और इसको लिख देना है, ठीक है. अब इसके बाद हम लोग क्या करेंगे, लिखेंगे दैट एक्सेलरेशन हाउ we have to find acceleration in velocity time graph, as I had mentioned that by the slope of vt graph. What is the slope of vt graph? That is vt मतलब slope of ab. That means you can write here slope of ab, and here for acceleration we will use a. Okay. Now a equal to, see slope ab का slope कैसे होगा, that कितना एंगल बन रहा है यहाँ पे इस जगह पे, that bd by ad. So we will write here bd by ad. ठीक है. अब देखते हैं हम लोग, a इक्वल टू क्या हो जाएगा, bd का वैल्यू कैसे आएगा, bc माइनस dc. सो वी विल राइट हियर bc माइनस dc एंड ad दैट इज इक्वल टू oc. ठीक है. फिर एक स्टेप और आगे बढ़ेंगे. देखो bc कहां से आ जाएगा, दैट oe से, मतलब आप यहाँ पे लिख सकते हो oe माइनस दिस dc इज इक्वल टू oa, एंड oc की जगह पे हम लोग t लिख सकते हैं. ठीक है. और एक स्टेप अगर मान लो हम लोग आगे जाते हैं तो क्या हो जाएगा, a इक्वल टू oe. oe मतलब ये वैल्यू यहां से यहां तक वैल्यू क्या है, दैट इज v. तो वी विल राइट हियर v. और देखो यहाँ पे oa मतलब यहाँ पे क्या मार्किंग है, इस जगह पे जो मार्किंग हो दैट विल बी द वैल्यू ऑफ oa, सो इट विल बी u बाई t. अब इसको यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या करेंगे, t इंटू a क्या हो जाएगा, at इक्वल टू v माइनस u. ठीक है. अब क्या करेंगे, u को इधर ट्रांसफर कर देंगे, at प्लस u इक्वल टू v, देयरफॉर v इक्वल टू u प्लस at. दिस इज आवर रिजल्ट. ठीक है.